Right. Back after a bit of time off from reading and also time off from being sober. Did a nice 60-day bender. It's pretty awesome, but definitely unhealthy. And back on the wagon. Back. So if you fuck up, it's okay. Because there's infinite amount of forgiveness for yourself. And by forgiving yourself, we can forgive others. We're going to go with chapter 5. You, simply naked. Quote, the most fundamental harm we can do ourselves is to remain ignorant by not having the courage and the respect to look at ourselves honestly and gently. End quote. By Pema Chodron. You are the most awesome living organism on the planet. Your mind can do more than any computer. In fact, it creates computers. Your body is self-regulating, self-healing, and self-aware. It alerts you to the tiniest problems and is programmed to protect you, ensuring your survival. It is infinitely more complex than the most intelligent technology. It is priceless. Since alcohol affects how your body functions, it is vital to understand how your body works when sober. When you are ensnared in the cycle of addiction, it's easy to forget how competent you really are. You are balanced and strong. You are equipped with two phenomenal guidance systems. Symptoms and instincts. Did I say guidance systems? Symptoms and instincts, which help your mind understand your body's needs. Your extraordinary mind and body, complex. We learn more about the human brain every day. We are awed by its abilities, and despite our technological advances, we cannot come close to replicating it. Your brain is capable of more in a single second than I can describe in hours. It can do more than I could ever explain because much of its powers are still unknown. We know nothing more powerful than the human brain. Astonishingly, the majority of your brain's activity happens without conscious thought. It's designed to keep us alive and highly functional without our direction. When we are asleep, it allows us to breathe, keeps our hearts beating, and regulates our temperature. Our immune system fights a daily battle against millions of toxins, both externally and internally. And we take all this for granted. Your extraordinary brain is housed in a body that sustains and communicates with it. Your senses alert your brain to new information. Our abilities to smell, feel, taste, hear, and see connect us to our surroundings. They allow us to function and protect us from danger. Survival depends on our senses. It's astounding how far we've progressed in science and medicine, yet nothing we've accomplished compares to the miracle of a single human cell. And we possess trillions of cells, each unique. Human beings are more sophisticated than anything in our known universe. It can be argued that a human being is the apex of the known universe. It is important to be aware of how awe-inspiring, complex, and powerful your body is. We've been created for the survival of our species, and ourselves, yet the capacity for emotion, empathy, reflection, and compassion. We are able to accomplish so much more than just survival. So, breaking that down a little bit, we've been created for the survival of our species. Well, nobody knows why we were created. So we'll just take that part with a grain of salt. Continuing on. Your extraordinary mind and body, balanced. One of our miraculous abilities is achieving and maintaining homeostasis. Merriam-Webster Medical Dictionary defines homeostasis as the maintenance of a relatively stable internal physiological conditions as body temperature or the pH of blood in higher animals under fluctuating environmental conditions. Also, the process of maintaining a stable psychological state in the individual under varying psychological pressures or stable social conditions in a group under varying social, environmental, or political factors. What is the point of this definition from Merriam-Webster? We'll find out. Homeostasis is a vital life force. We must remain in balance to survive. If we get too much acid, low pH, in our blood, it harms our organs. Consider how much we take care of a houseplant. We need to make sure the soil is moist but not oversaturated. We need to give it sunlight but not scorch it. We need to do all these things to ensure the right balance of water and nutrients. We as humans instinctually do this inside our bodies. We sweat when we are hot so that water evaporates. Evaporating water is cooling, so sweating regulates our temperature. When we are trying to rid our body of unwanted intruders such as bacteria and viruses, we get a fever, but not so high of one as to kill us. By heating itself up, our body kills the intruders without harming itself. We need oxygen to feed our cells. We naturally breathe at a faster rate. All of these, plus uncountable number of other functions such as your body's optimal survival thermostat, helping to maintain homeostasis. Wow, thanks for that 5th grade explanation, Annie Grace. Your extraordinary mind and body, strong. We are constantly exposed to messages from the media about the fragility of our bodies. Look how we consume hand sanitizer by the bucket. America spends more on health care than most other countries, yet has a higher infant mortality rate and relatively lower life expectancy for the developed world. She means in comparison to the developed world. We often feel weak and incomplete, yet nothing is further from the truth. Despite drinking poison in increasing quantities, usually daily, we still function. By believing we are weak, we foster the misconception that we need something more to thrive. We are not weak. We are strong. We represent the very pinnacle of existence, stronger and more capable than anything we know of. We populated and explored the entire planet, and even the moon, before most of our modern medical discoveries. Oh, controversial, Annie Grace. She says we explored the entire planet and even the moon. Did we even go to the moon? We don't know. That's just a story. I mean, where's the proof?
And there's a lot of unexplored ocean.
There's a lot of unexplored ocean. So settle down, Annie Grace. Making big claims.
Which is almost even harder to explore than the moon.
It's harder to explore the deepest part of the ocean, theoretically, than even exploring the moon. Anyway, carrying on, Annie says, "It's a miracle I survived all my years of heavy drinking and am healthy and thriving. It's a testament to how strong we are. When I decided to stop drinking, I expected to lose weight and improve my health. I was not disappointed. I lost 10 pounds in the first month. The real surprise is how my life improved in ways I didn't expect. For one thing, my confidence skyrocketed. Also, when my body healed, I found myself amazed at the difference in how I felt every day. During my years of heavy drinking, I didn't feel particularly sick, but I didn't feel physically great either. I forgot how it felt to have tons of energy. Now, I'm often surprised how much I can get done while still feeling motivated and happy. It is staggering to realize what we are capable of when we are mentally and physically strong." And I personally can attest to that because when I quit drinking so long ago, it was like 10 days ago, I was just busy every day cleaning up the house, arranging my campsite, making it look a little prettier, and trying to get stuff organized. Vacuumed out my van, and it felt great. Getting some dopamine from doing tasks is the bomb. All right, carrying on. We know more about ever the dangers of alcohol and drugs, yet addiction is on the rise. As a society, we find this confusing. The Just Say No campaign, created by the First Lady Nancy Reagan, remains one of the most famous anti-drug campaigns of all time. Between 1998 and 2004, U.S. Congress spent almost $1 billion nationally in anti-drug media campaigns. Why? Well, obviously, it's a huge scam to steal tax dollars on a program that doesn't even work. Anyway, Nancy says it's because we continue to see addiction on the rise and we just don't understand why. Youth today drink more than they did in the 80s, and though we are concerned, we can't seem to understand why the rates of drug and alcohol use are increasing. I believe part of the reason is that we inadvertently condition ourselves to believe we are weak. We believe we lack some vital ingredient necessary to the enjoyment of our lives. We conclude that we are deficient, that we need substances to enjoy life and deal with stress. We've been unconsciously conditioned to believe that alcohol helps us compensate for this deficiency, that it may help us feel strong, uninhibited, creative, and confident, but maybe we think it'll help us deal with the pressures and hassles of daily lives. So, warning mechanisms are symptoms. Let's look for our first couple minutes in the most common way our body warns us when something isn't right. Symptoms. When we feel a symptom of illness, we usually hurry to the medicine cabinet or the nearest doctor to make the discomfort go away. The pharmaceutical industry has never been bigger, especially after COVID-19. Imagine you're on a ship and you sail into a storm. The captain can no longer see the shore or the stars and is completely dependent on the ship's navigational systems. A bright red star starts flashing. A bright red light starts flashing. The light let him know that one of his navigational instruments is low on battery. He can't navigate without it. What if, instead of replacing the battery, he removed the red indicator light? Did the captain fix the issue? Nope. He compounded it. I just want to point out that on ships, they have power supplies that are driven by the engine, and the navigational systems are not being controlled by a battery. That's a little silly. Anyway, my mother's a health nut. She ate organic food before most people even knew what organic food was. She didn't even take Advil because she believed our ailments can and should be healed through natural, herbal, and food-based remedies rather than with chemicals. Although I ignored her guidance for many years, especially in college when I rebelled against my healthy upbringing with the diet of Taco Bell and Nerds candy, I've come to realize how poignant and true her advice is. We must exercise caution before doing anything that alters our normal functions. It can be terrifying to realize how little we know about the inner workings of our body and minds. When we mess with the functions of our bodies and numb our senses with alcohol and other drugs, we act like the captain, inviting catastrophe. Tommy Rosen, founder of Recovery 2.0 and addiction specialist, teaches that we have an infinite pharmacy within, meaning we carry every instinct, hormone, and drug that we need to help us live long, healthy, and happy lives. If you look at your body's ability to produce adrenaline or endorphins, you see that we are supplied in perfect quantity at the exact time needed. We possess a phenomenal system. Your immune system is the single most powerful weapon against the disease. It is significantly more important to your health than any modern medicine. Ask any doctor and she will tell you the same thing. We've discussed how alcohol severely damages your immune system's ability to function. Drinking is like removing the red indicator light on your immune system. A rare genetic disorder called anhidrosis prevents a person from feeling pain. At first, this might seem like a good thing. A life without pain? Who complain about that? It's actually one of the life's scariest diseases, though. You wouldn't realize the shower was scalding until your skin reddened and blistered. You wouldn't know your bone was broken until it protruded from your arm. People suffering from this disorder have no chance of living a normal life. It would be hard to make it past childhood unless you lived inside a bubble. Pain gets a bad rap, but it's our friend. It keeps us alive. As kids, we long to be older, to have our own houses, cars, and money to spend. As adults, we wish we were young again because we are always tired of life, and we're always tired, and life seems to get increasingly stressful. It shouldn't be this way. During childhood and adolescence, we undergo more changes than at any other time in our lives. In every other animal, childhood is more stressful than adulthood. Think about how tough high school was. Remember the mental strain of the changes you underwent? As a child, you didn't feel in control of your life and your destiny, which generates fear and stress. When you are mentally at peace and physically strong as an adult, you experience the best of both worlds. You regain the vigor of youth, and your actual age no longer seems to matter. You feel more comfortable than in your own skin. You are wiser and better adjusted. These are the best years of my life. I have more energy, joy, vigor, courage, and self-respect than ever before. Alcohol steals this from us. We drink more and more and become sicker and sicker. It is gradual, and we don't realize we no longer feel our best. We become accustomed to it and actually believe it's normal to feel fatigued, stressed, and somewhat unhappy. Now, granted, exhaustion can be caused by many things besides alcohol. If you're drinking, there is no doubt it exacerbates the stresses, making exhaustion and even regular hangovers an unpleasant way of life. There is not a clear sign that we are doing something to hurt ourselves other than the hangover. Perhaps this chronic exhaustion is the body's way of saying that something is wrong. These days I have so much energy, it's incredible. It took time to regain my energy, but over time I healed from years of drinking poison. When you are physically strong, you feel on top of the world. You are present to fully enjoy the great moments in life. I handle stress better, too, because my stressors multiplied. Before, my stressors multiplied because instead of dealing with my problems, I ignored them by drinking. When left unattended, they grew inexplicably large. Without drinking, I can mindfully manage stress. In fact, my ability to handle the things I once drank to ignore can be empowering. I don't mean to say I never have hard days. Of course I do. But when you're feeling healthy and happy, everything becomes easier. We have a staggering intellect that both helps us and harms us. It's helpful when we use our intellect to recognize our body's warning lights, symptoms, and search for the root problems. It is harmful when we rely solely on our intelligence and ignore our body's instinctual knowledge. Instincts is the work of our body's senses, alert, telling us what will harm us. Sadly, we often ignore this most basic warning system. When something goes wrong with our body, we visit a doctor. Doctors will tell you we understand relatively little about how we are made, and how to heal ourselves. We continually learn more, disproving I went 2 pages. We continually learn more, disproving existing medical theories. That's a weird sentence. We used to think that bloodletting, draining blood from a sick person, would cure illness by draining the malady from the body. We now realize this actually harmed the patient, sapping vital strength from an ailing body. Now, of course, our knowledge and technology is growing at an unprecedented rate. We are more informed than any other point in the history of the world, yet we would be stupid to imagine that our knowledge is complete. We have only read the news. You only have to read the news to realize that we are constantly discovering new things and disproving existing theories. Our health is the single most important thing we have, and without it, nothing else matters. Our instincts are specifically designed to guide us. Yet in our stubbornness, we rely heavily on our own intellect, trusting in our knowledge more than our senses, even though common knowledge is often later disproven. We ignore our instincts in favor of intelligence, not realizing our instincts are designed to keep us alive and healthy. Alcohol deadens our senses and mutes our instincts. It is important that we do not ignore our natural instincts. They are the most valuable source of information we have regarding our health and longevity. We need to see that we are strong, whole, and complete. We need to understand that alcohol, instead of acting as a support to help us deal with life, actually deadens our senses and harms our immune system. Consuming chemicals which affect the functioning of our bodies is reckless, and in this case, danger is increased because our chemical of choice is addictive. In truth, you don't need alcohol to enjoy life or to relieve stress. You only think you do, and in reality, it does nothing for us. As you uncover the truth, your perception will begin to change, both consciously and unconsciously, and with this knowledge, you will no longer desire alcohol. You will be free. And next, we're going to cover Chapter 6, which is the liminal point. Are we really drinking for taste? And yeah, going back through that chapter, thinking about some things. Boy, Annie sure does make it basic for all of us to understand, so there's a lot to appreciate there. Some of her analogies are so basic that I wish we could get a little more technical, a little deeper, but that's where we're at. And 26% way through the end of this book, and 75% left. Let's see how much consistency I will bring you guys as I shoot for a chapter a day, hopefully early in the morning before the chainsaws start ripping up the wood. So, wishing everybody a blessed day. Don't forget to bring your body some attention from your mind. Let the words fall away. Bring some attention to the breath, and you can do a nice body scan. I recommend doing some yoga nidra. If you look up the YouTube creator Madhav, Madhav, and practice the 45-minute yoga nidra that he has available, it's an incredibly beautiful experience. Everybody, that's it. Bye.